Hi, my name is Brad with Arts Gun Shop, and today we're going to show you how to date your Browning A5 16 gauge. Now, Browning's been making an A5 16 gauge since 1909, and the way they started off serial numbers was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They were just consecutively numbered, nothing to it. They're easy enough to spot in the early years, and they're easy enough to read the serial chart. And I'm going to show you where to find the serial number. Right here on the bottom of the receiver, that's what you're looking for. If you ever see it on the side of the receiver, it's not a Browning A5. It's either a Savage Model 720 or it's an American Browning or it's a Remington Model 11. But on a Browning A5, it's always going to be on the bottom of the receiver. So they were consecutively numbered at the beginning and they start in 1909. Now, they did stop production a few years, obviously 1914 to 1918. They had World War I, and then again, 1943 to 1945. Those were rough years because of World War II. Now, the Nazis took over the plant both times because they wanted production for the Browning 9mm, and they wanted it for production of anti-aircraft cannons. Now, after World War II, the plant was just decimated. They'd hit it with V1 and V2 flying bombs. A lot of employees have been killed, a lot of machinery damaged. Interesting part of history is the GIs would go there and order guns and watch them be built. Even though the city was a disaster, people would actually come in and sleep on the floor. They had nowhere else to go. And it's kind of a neat piece of history that some of our fathers or grandfathers may have actually ordered guns from these people and helped them get back on their feet. That being said, they were consecutively numbered, but we want to cover that part of the history because it's worth of note. They were consecutively numbered all the way up until 1947. In 1947, they swapped over to a next prefix. So from 1909 to 1947, they're consecutively numbered, and we're going to put up a chart and show you what that looks like. Starting in 1947, Browning went to an X prefix. This was used up until 1953. We're going to put up a chart showing you how to date those. Starting in 1953, Browning changed it up again. They actually came out with two different lines. They came out with a standard 16 that'll have an R prefix in front of the serial number, and they came out with a sweet 16 that'll have an S prefix in front of the serial number. Now, the standard 16 was made from 53 up until 64. After that, it was discontinued. The sweet 16, it was made from 53 all the way up until 76. But let's just go ahead and make things easy. I'm going to show you a chart with the standard 16 and show you a chart with the sweet 16. And it's going to hopefully help you out. Starting in 1958, Browning yet again changed it a little bit. They still use the R for the standard, and they still use the S for the Sweet 16. However, they started putting one number in front of that R or the S to designate the year that it was made. So here again, we're going to put up more charts. I know you're getting tired of looking at charts, but we're trying to make an in-depth video on how to date these things. Okay, so you know the standard 16 was discontinued, so that's over with. Now, on the Sweet 16s, on the Belgium side, they had one last change. On the prefix in front of the serial number, instead of having one number, they went to two. And this is the last and final change on the Belgium side. So in 1976, that was the last year of the Belgium-made Browning Auto 5s. 77, they swapped over to the Japanese plant. Now, the Japanese did it completely differently. They didn't have a prefix. What they did was they took two letters, stuck them right in the middle of the serial number, and that's actually your date code. And the Japanese actually, once you learn how to read it, it's very simple, but it throws a lot of people off that just don't understand it. What they do is they took the alphabet starting at the very end, Z, and it means something that goes in reverse order on the alphabet. I'm going to put up a chart. You're going to understand how to read the Japanese numbers after this. Hopefully you can now date your Browning Auto 516 gauge. That covers your Belgium and that covers your Japanese years of production. It's actually pretty simple once you learn how to do it. And you might want to keep checking back with us from time to time. We're going to be putting out a whole line of videos on how to date your guns. Like I said, we get these all the time, and there is some interesting history to some of this stuff. If you have any questions or comments, just pick up the phone, call us, or leave us a message. Anything we do to help you out, just let us know.